Napoleon, welcome back. Red zone defense was really bad last year. What player additions will help that? And is there anything else that they can do to improve in that area? They can be more aggressive in the red zone, in my opinion, from the linebacker level. But the thing that I think is really going to help is the different personnel. I'm really intrigued. Red zone, what they do when they move Amenahue inside next to Chris Jones, and the two of them can attack the V gaps together. Maybe they do some stunning and some slanting, and they do get into the A's, but I think you want the linebackers to cover the A's and just come downhill and let those guys penetrate. And I think Amenahue is going to surprise some people about how good he is inside rather than outside.
Yeah, I think tackling is the biggest thing. They got to the pressure the quarterback quite a bit, kind of fall off some tackles, and you had some misassignments early that really was to their detriment. I think that's something else too.
Patrick, now that we're getting 2 rings with Mahomes, is it Super Bowl or bust every year, or is a playoff team good enough? I'll tell you this: it's Super Bowl or bust every single year, unless you get to that point where Travis Kelce retires or Chris Jones retires, and the youth hasn't grown up to replace it. Those are the 2 big obstacles that I can see. Everything else can be dealt with, in my opinion, but if one of those 2 guys ends his career, and I do think they will both be here in Kansas City until their careers end, but you don't have the impact player to then take over. Those are the 2 tripping points I see.
Yeah, and I just think that for me, it's AFC Championship or bust. I know that it's always Super Bowl or bust, but at the end of the day, that they're going to be around that. And if you don't get to it, at least the championship game, like there's some questions that need to be asked.
Agreed. WNMB, why do teams occasionally drop edge rushers into coverage? Is it just to free up a corner to blitz? Not necessarily a corner. It's called replacement. Especially in zone type blitzing, you want to drop a guy out to replace an area that he can get to that allows you to send somebody from somewhere else. Sometimes it's the total opposite side of the field. I do like the edge for inside linebacker trades. Those go really well, in my opinion. There are some times where you just want to stack an overload, where you're going to slant everybody away and you're going to drop them anyway, even though you're not sending a blitz in particular. It's just another way to keep offenses on their toes and do something they don't expect. That's where Joe Cullen and Steve Spagnuolo come in.
Yeah, typically it's that in passing lane kind of thing. Like you want to see them just kind of get their hands up. You see it a lot with younger quarterbacks where you'll see a defensive end drop and then they'll throw it right to them. They don't expect them to drop, and they just get it. Like, right. You see a couple of interceptions. Aiden Hutchinson had a couple of them for the Lions last year. Drop them into coverage, and quarterbacks just don't see it happening. It's shock value.
Yeah, you got to. And he also wants to know: did you see the trophies at Whiteman?
I didn't even know they were here. Honestly, no one told me. I had no idea that they were here, so I didn't get to. I'm very upset. And this is not the first time I've been reminded. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying I'm a little hurt.
I'm sorry. I had no idea either if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah, well, you're in Colorado. I would expect this. So,
Teddy, thanks for the support, pal. Why is everyone automatically elevating KT to wide receiver 1 over Sky? Personally, I think 24 has a better chance to end up as the top guy. I can understand why you'd make that argument because, honestly, in terms of consistent production, you could make the argument pretty easily. I'll tell you the reason is because Brett Veach himself has said that we feel Tony can be our number 1. He has said it 3 times by my count this offseason. I don't know if he's trying to speak it into existence or if they're just truly sold on it. But either way, Teddy, that's why folks are doubling down on it.
He came over and was immediately impactful.
Yeah.
They traded for him. He didn't know the playbook. He was immediately impactful. They feel comfortable with him getting a lot of touches. They want him to get a lot of touches. That's just kind of how it works, man. I understand it, though. I get it. Sky Moore could be a PPR, like a fantasy football PPR machine this year. He really could be. Just tons and tons of receptions.
Well, and Marshall's point comes in here too. Nice to see you, Marshall. I feel Tony's wide receiver potential is going under the radar. Through 19 games, he's on similar pace to Hill's first season. Second year in Reed's offense can be a big deal. His tape is unreal. You're absolutely right. It's about those flashes and what he can be, especially now that he's. I think we underrate sometimes because we all know the trade deadline's coming, right?
Yeah.
We underrate just how difficult it is to make that jump. Yes, there's some similarities coming from Kafka's offense, but it's not walk in and everything. So I agree with you, Marshall. Like there's a jump in there.
And he was learning that offense last year from a different offense the year before. So, I mean, there's a lot of new offenses he's had to learn. And I think the big thing for Tony specifically is just he needs to stop putting all of his weight on the plant foot. Every time you see him trying to juke somebody out, he puts everything he can into that outstretched foot, and then he gets hurt. Like, just try to Luke. I don't know anything about it. You know your body better than I do, but just give it a little toe tap, a little juke here and there, a little side step here. Don't just plant on that foot and ankle and then try to get around everybody.
Learn the rumba. Seriously, just move your hips, because guys are trying to wrap you up at the hips. Yeah, you can do it. Marshall, thank you.